I think we've got all of our Leafs talk out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to get to our hot takes?
Yeah.
Sure, go
Why
for
not?
it.
Who wants to go first?
You.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well, I think you both know it already.
Oh,
The Arizona Coyotes will make the playoffs.
okay.
Discuss.
My only problem with that, I can name 3 teams off the top of my head that I know will be stronger than Arizona
And where?
You know or
in
think?
in the West?
in the
In their
Pacific.
division.
In the
Okay, who?
Pacific. San Jose,
Yeah,
Yes.
obviously.
LA.
No.
Yes.
I don't think LA's that good.
LA is
LA's
old.
good enough.
They can't skate, and
Yeah.
Dustin Brown's already out. He's already on IR.
It depends what Kopitar we see this year as well.
It depends what kind of Ilya
You have
Kovalchuk you
Jonathan
get as well.
Quick.
Quick,
Yeah.
Kopitar, Kovalchuk, Drew Doughty.
I actually
Their defense.
Their defense is good enough, and their forward group can get them there, and their goaltender
Depends
can
if
damn
we
well
see-
get them there.
Okay,
we
but
s-
if you compare that to Arizona's roster, I don't think that there's that big of a discrepancy where you can go LA is absolutely in and I
Okay.
don't know about Arizona.
I've looked at Arizona in previous years and said, hey, this could be a year they challenge.
Okay, but could be and this roster are two different things.
yeah, this roster's pretty good. Everyone's more developed. Like all the young
Especially when
players.
Alex Galchenyuk comes back when they have a fully healthy Jacob Chikrin.
Jake Chikrin's gonna carry that team with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Like you have 2 of the best defensemen in the NHL.
You've got Ekman Larson, you've got Jalmerson, you've got Demers, you've
they're-
got Chikrin on that
and
blue line.
Ranta can prove himself.
Antti Ranta,
yeah.
who led the league in save percentage as a starter.
Yeah. All
How
I'm
many games
saying,
did he play? He was injured.
He
yeah.
played like 50. He was injured at the
Yeah.
start of the year and then basically played every game.
I'm co-signing this hot take. I honestly, now that he's told me all this information, I agree. I think they could. Do
And
I
the
just- I
Pacific
just
is
didn't see it.
definitely the worst division in hockey.
Yeah.
They're-
Well,
Oh, no, yeah, that's not.
It's also the most
that's not a
unknown
question.
division.
he
in
played
hockey.
47 games last year and had a 930.
Yeah, it's
Ranta.
really good.
Okay. So if say they don't make a top 3, because they easily couldn't make a top 3 spot in the Pacific.
They could still get a
No,
wild
I think that they're a wild card team.
No, but the wild card's hard because
Central.
look at the Central. Every team in that division.
But
could
the
technically-
thing with that, though, is that although they may be better teams in the Central, there's so many good teams in the Central that have to play
Play each
themselves
other's-
over and
yeah.
over. That naturally brings down the average point total for everyone because there's a lot of games that are going both ways. And so instead of one team picking up 4 points, they're picking up 2 and the other team's picking up 2.
yeah. Like
And I
this
think
hot take.
that's one thing that's happened
Okay,
recently
yeah.
with the Atlantic and the Metro as well. Because the Metro is a lot deeper than the Atlantic.
Right.
And so the Atlantic has the higher point totals because they've got Detroit, Montreal, Buffalo, etc. in the division to boost the point totals. Whereas
Aren't
the
you gonna say
Metro.
Ottawa?
Well, I'm talking about in the last couple of
oh,
years.
okay, sorry.
Okay.
And then you've got the Metro, which is just a death trap.
Yeah.
And so
Good hot take.
I could see that.
I like it.
You next, because I'm
Okay.
trying to, like,
So
decide
the
between
rookie of
2.
the year is gonna, or the Calder winner is gonna come out of Buffalo, but it's not who you're thinking. Casey Middlestat. Whoa, he wins the Calder. I'm basically basing this off of what Matt Barzal did last year, whereas like there's all these hype around like Nico Herscher, like Nolan Patrick, and all them, but like someone who is already in the organization. I mean, I could have said like, you know what, probably like Elias Pettersson probably has a better chance of winning.
Yeah.
That's
but-
my pick.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah,
just
I
something
think
about
so, too.
Middlestat's game when I watch him play that I really like. As a Canada fan, it's kind of hard to watch him play for Team USA sometimes, but I don't know. I think he's getting put in a good position in Buffalo where it's a
Yeah,
team,
it looks like he's going to be playing with Connor Sherry and Tage Thompson at some point.
Yeah, and those are 2 quality NHL players. And honestly, like when you're a young player on a team that doesn't really have a lot of expectations, like some people are saying, yeah, Buffalo should aspire to make the playoffs this year. Realistically speaking, that's still a bit of a long shot. They're just a team with very minimal expectations. So I wouldn't be shocked if he puts up really good numbers, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he puts up terrible numbers. So that's why it's my hot take, because it's pretty rare. But I
Yeah,
think it
last
could
year when he got signed out of Minnesota and played with Buffalo, he did put up 5 points in 6 games as well.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just look at Matt Barzal. He's on like the same like the Islanders.
That's a
last
really
year.
interesting comparable.
No, I'm not saying the way they play. I'm just
No,
saying the
I mean
situation.
like their situation wise. I think that's a really interesting comparable. I
Yeah.
think that's a good one.
because the Islanders last year had no expectations. People are like, oh, they're just the Islanders, and people are now like, oh, they're just the Sabres. So
Well, the Sabres have added a lot.
they're still not a playoff team.
I don't
Carter
think
Hutton
they're
has to
play.
work out.
Yeah,
That
That's
has
my
to work
biggest
out. That's the
concern, and
biggest
I'm
thing.
not overly a
Because
big fan of
goaltenders
it.
are very.
And Linus Ullmark, I don't think is a great backup option either.
yeah.
But with Buffalo,
Oh yeah, let him
I
with the
just-
Islanders.
the top 3 in the Atlantic are just so strong. I don't see any other team breaking into that. And
No.
I don't see Buffalo being a better team than one of the wild cards out of the Metro.
Here comes my hot take. Get
Ooh,
ready.
how about that for a
Can I
segue?
guess?
Are you
Get-
sitting on your comfy cushion to ease the butthurt that's about to come? Here's my hot take. Boston doesn't finish top
Yeah,
3 in
I
the
knew you were
Atlantic.
gonna say that. And then who beats them? Florida.
Ooh.
Florida.
Okay,
There's so many ifs, but
That's
I
my
kind
hot
of like
take.
it.
okay. That's interesting.
Mainly because I hate the Bruins.
Well, who doesn't?
No, but like
Good way to get the bias right out of the way.
I don't know. I'm just saying
That's interesting.
I look at their team and it's just the first line. And Tuukka Rask overachieved
Okay,
last
let's
year.
not.
No.
Yes.
However, no,
No,
I'm
no.
going to agree with you for a second. Torrey Krug is out right now.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that's
he's
a big
injured.
loss.
Yes.
And if they start the season bad, you never know with those kind of starts.
Chara's another year older.
Yeah,
Tuukka Rask is getting up there in age,
yeah.
and we can
And
agree.
Yaroslav Halak is not an overly convincing backup.
No, he's not. Udobin was great for them last
Yeah,
year.
He
these
was
aren't the
really
Kadobin-
good.
He kept them.
These
in
aren't the
there.
Kadobin
He was an
days,
he was
yeah.
an underrated backup last
No,
year.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
he deserves
So
to start. On
can
Sunday.
you pull up Boston's depth chart?
Yeah, for sure.
I want to see Boston's lines.
Can we look at Florida's? I'll get Florida's.
Pull up
now.
Yeah, pull
Florida's.
up
Yeah, go
Florida's.
for that. The only question mark on the Florida side before you pull it up for me is their goaltending.
No. Roberto Luongo and James Reimer?
Yeah, it's
That's
Roberto
one of the
Luongo.
deepest pair. And they've got Michael Hutchinson in the minors too, who had one of the best save
It's not good
percentages in the
enough for me.
AHL. Not good enough
Luongo's
for you.
Okay, I love Luongo and I love Reimer.
Actually,
guys know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's just-
Boston forward lines.
Yeah,
Obviously the top line, Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. But after that, DeBrusk, Krejci, Heinen,
that's good. After that, it's just a huge.
Donato, Corrali, Backus, Nordstrom, Machari, Wagner.
And Anders Bjork can slide in there too.
Yeah, I just don't think Bruce Cassidy seems like a guy to me who's going to play the 5-point winger who's a veteran over Anders Bjork.
So I look at this Florida roster, and it's one of those rosters where if everything goes right, they could be really freaking good.
That was the
Because-
Leafs 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got like players like Barkov, Dadonov, Trocheck, Huberdeau, like all these players.
Bukestad.
Trocheck was
Yeah.
so underrated
Mike
last
Hoffman.
year. He had a
Hoffman
crazy
in?
season.
Yeah, you got to
And he
remember
still
Oh,
got-
I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
that's-
You got Keith.
everyone does.
You got Keith Yandel, Aaron Ekblad on defense.
They've
Mark-
got a wild card as well. They've got Henrik Borgstrom, who they sent down to
Yeah.
start in the AHL. He put up massive numbers
I mean-
in college last year.
I'd be scared of them.
The only
if I'm
question
Boston.
with their team is probably their defense after their first pairing.
Yeah, because right now it's until Torrey Krug comes back. Because right now they've got Chara McAvoy.
He was talking about.
The Flyers.
Florida.
Oh, sorry.
Florida.
Or sorry, the
Yeah.
Panthers. Yeah. But I agree. Also, it's a question mark for Boston. Both these teams have question marks on defense.
Yeah. Right now, Boston's defense is looking like Chara McAvoy, John Moore, who I can't believe they gave that contract to, with Brandon Carlo, and then Matt Grzelcyk and Kevin Miller on the bottom pairing. That isn't overly convincing, and that's
No, it's
a
not.
pretty slow defense as well.
No, and yeah, look at Tuukka Rask's numbers from last year.
Yeah.
Those are hard to repeat for him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not a good goaltender.
I still think
You're
he's one of the
starting
better
to sway me
goalies.
a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, he's a good
I like
goaltender.
that hot take.
Right?
That's good.
He's a good goaltender. He's
I
good.
just think the
he's not the Vezina that he used to be.
No,
Yeah.
nowhere near.
I just think, like you said, the Panthers need to have like Leafs 2 years ago, where they have all this talent, but it's so like raw that
They're
it
gonna
just
surprise
everything
people.
needs
Jonathan Huberdeau as well.
They can surprise
Yeah,
people.
no, I don't get me wrong. Like they have a great forward. It's just their defense is god awful after their first line.
And,
Yep.
and like you were saying, you think Barkov's underrated? Just wait till this year.
Oh yeah, dude.
He could
Barkov
win a
is so
Selke
much
Like, he's-
this
fun.
year. He
would
could have
you-
won a Selke
So
last
much-
year.
He probably should have.
Yeah.
Does
He's like
Barkov
25
play
minutes.
with Dadonov and Bukestad?
No, he plays with Huberdeau usually.
Oh,
Not
they,
Bukestad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
They load
that's-
up that top line,
that's still
and then
a
they
rid-
have Trocheck on the second line.
That's a ridiculously good line.
That's
Mhm.
such a good
That's what
line.
I'm saying. Like they could.
I like that
They
hot
could
take.
make some noise. Yeah.
That's good.
And Boston could easily fall out because they're old and they can get.
Well, I don't
injured.
think that they'll fall out of the playoffs.
No. Yeah, sorry. I said top 3.
It,
They
yeah,
could fall out
if
of top
Florida finishes top 3, I think Boston still makes it as a wild card.
And then the Leafs take them as the wild card.
Stop it.
Wait, do you think the
Stop
Leafs win
it.
this,
Oh, yeah, that's
the
good.
Atlantic? That
yeah,
we can
we'll
end the
finish
show
on that.
That's good.
Yeah. Yes.
You say yes with how many points?
114.
I say no with 108. Tampa gets 112, but we beat Tampa in the playoffs.
I also think that the Leafs will finish second in the division.
Tampa's just so good.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
And also, their team's been together. We are adding a couple new people. Obviously, John Tavares, in case you
Honestly,
forgot.
I think.
Uh,
yeah.
But and that
Yeah, he
Tampa
did.
team has had the same core for the last couple of years now, so I think they're just more ready at the start of the season. But by the end of the year, I think the Leafs will be the better team. I'm
Knock-
just saying, we might drop some games early that we won't drop later in the year, if that makes sense.
Knock on wood. I think something happens to Tampa's roster
Like
This
trade wise.
injury wise.
I don't want that though.
No, I don't either. It's why knock wood.
It's kind of hard to project injuries. You can't really do that.
Yeah, I don't want to see Victor Hedman out for
no,
another
it's not projecting. It's
No. I know what you
I
mean.
think will happen.
I know, but
This is my-
you
this is
never
my
know what
sixth
like.
Yeah, because that
Tampa
team is
had
very injury
all
prone.
their centers get hurt one year
Yeah.
and missed the playoffs.
Victor Hedman falls out of that lineup, you're in trouble. Yeah, they do
Sergachev
have, they
can
still,
only do so
yeah,
much,
exactly.
right?
They
Yeah.
still have a very good.
They have a
young
full year of Ryan
core.
McDonough too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow, that team's
So-
just good.
That's what I'm saying.
Jeez.
I honestly think the Leafs are going to overachieve this year.
Well, okay, so you think they're going to
Finish
outperform?
first. Pardon?
You think
during
they're going to outperform expectations?
I
In
think
the
they're gonna
regular season, at
outperform,
least. We'll touch on
what they
playoffs
should
and stuff
do.
at a later date.
Like what
Yeah.
I just
Okay, so say expectations are second in the division with 110 points.
sure.
That's hell of a season.
Yeah.
Because you're playing in one of the best.
Because I
divisions in
think
hockey.
that first place in the division is going to go right down to the wire.
You have to remember Austin Matthews missed 20 games last year.
Yeah, that's definitely a big factor.
So 20 games without Austin Matthews and you still hit 105
Yeah.
points.
That's
pretty
fair.
good.
And now you have John Tavares in that lineup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
With Austin
casually
Matthews
throw in
hopefully
John
being healthy.
Tavares
Yeah.
and no
Right,
Roman
but-
Polak.
But Martin Marinson's back, so
Yeah.
red flag.